Westlake High School prided itself on two things: its prestigious academic reputation and its carefully maintained social hierarchy. From the gleaming hallways to the manicured athletic fields, everything about the school screamed privilege, a fact not lost on 14-year-old Jaden Harris as he slipped quietly into his advanced placement calculus class 5 minutes before the bell. Jaden kept his eyes down as he navigated to his desk in the back corner. Despite being a freshman in a junior-level course, he preferred invisibility to recognition. His worn backpack and secondhand clothes stood in stark contrast to the designer items sported by most of his classmates. At the front of the room, Ms. Evelyn Whitmore arranged papers on her desk with military precision. At 47, she was Westlake's longest-serving mathematics teacher and made no secret of her preference for students whose parents donated generously to the school. "Settle down, everyone," Ms. Whitmore called sharply as the bell rang. "We have visitors today." Jaden glanced up to see 3 well-dressed adults entering, school board members on their annual observation tour. Ms. Whitmore smiled, but the warmth didn't reach her eyes. "I was just about to review some advanced concepts. Perhaps this is an opportunity to showcase our top students." Her gaze swept the room, pausing on Brooke Langston, daughter of the district's wealthiest property developer, before landing unexpectedly on Jaden. "Mr. Harris," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness, "since you've managed to place yourself in my advanced class despite your unusual background, perhaps you'd like to demonstrate your abilities." A tense silence fell. Everyone knew Jaden had been placed here based on entrance exam scores that the administration initially assumed were a mistake. Ms. Whitmore turned to the whiteboard and wrote out a complex differential equation, announcing loudly, "This is a problem from my graduate studies at Cornell. Let's see if our young prodigy can handle it." Snickers rippled through the classroom. Jaden slowly stood, heart pounding against his ribs as 20 pairs of eyes followed his every step. Ms. Whitmore handed him a marker with a predatory smile. "Take your time," she said. "We're all very interested in your approach." What Ms. Whitmore didn't know was that mathematics had been Jaden's sanctuary since he was 5. His fascination had begun with the symmetry of snowflakes, the spiral of snail shells, and the branching of trees. His mother, Carla Harris, a single mom working 2 jobs, brought home discarded textbooks from the community college where she cleaned offices. Jaden devoured them: arithmetic, algebra, geometry, eventually teaching himself calculus. By 12, his room was covered with hand-drawn graphs and equations. His prized possession was a collection of dog-eared notebooks filled with problems he invented for himself. While his mother rested before her night shift, Jaden lost himself in the pure certainty of numbers, a world where judgment and prejudice held no sway. When Jaden scored in the 99th percentile on Westlake's placement exam, the administration made him retake it, convinced he'd cheated. When he scored even higher, they placed him in advanced courses with a warning that he'd be monitored closely. Only one person at school knew Jaden's full potential: Maya Lin, a sophomore assigned as his orientation buddy. She'd found him solving quantum mechanics problems during lunch. "Why hide it?" she asked. Jaden had shrugged. "Being smart and black makes people uncomfortable. Being smarter than them makes you dangerous." His mother had taught him to move quietly through the world. "You'll have to be twice as good to get half as far," she said. "Sometimes, baby, it's safer if they don't see you coming." So Jaden kept his brilliance hidden, answering just enough questions to maintain solid grades, simplifying his homework, and never showing his full hand. Until now. At the whiteboard, Jaden recognized the equation, a partial differential equation related to thermodynamics. He'd studied it last summer. He hesitated. His mother's voice echoed, "Sometimes it's safer if they don't see you coming." But another voice, his own, whispered back, "Sometimes they need to." Ms. Whitmore crossed her arms. "We're waiting, Mr. Harris. Perhaps this is beyond your capabilities." Jaden took a breath and touched the marker to the board. The room fell silent, except for the soft squeak of marker on glass. Ms. Whitmore circled behind him like a hawk. "Please explain your approach as you go, Mr. Harris. That is, if you have one." Jaden began laying out his process, establishing boundary conditions, then applying separation of variables. Ms. Whitmore raised an eyebrow. "Impressive vocabulary," she said. "But let's see if there's substance." Brooke Langston laughed. "He probably learned those words from YouTube." Another student added, My little brother uses big words too. Doesn't mean he understands them. Ms. Whitmore smiled faintly, but said nothing. Jaden focused, tuning out the jeers. The math took over. He outlined his solution with confidence. The equations filled the board. The room hushed. Ms. Whitmore, now visibly unsettled, added new constraints to the problem. Let's see if you can solve this version. The modification was brutal. Some students glanced around, uncomfortable with the obvious targeting. From the corner of his eye, Jaden saw Maya give him a small nod. He turned back to the board. The solution unfolded, elegant and precise. The final equation glowed under the fluorescent lights. Impossible, Ms. Whitmore muttered, just loud enough. Mr. Harris, she said, louder now. Where did you copy this from? I didn't copy it, Jaden said firmly. That's the solution. A freshman couldn't possibly. One of the board members stepped forward. Interesting approach, he said. He adjusted his glasses. Where did you learn this, son? Mostly books and online courses, sir. Public library. Ms. Whitmore scoffed. Without formal instruction? That's hardly credible. Actually, the board member interjected, this problem was modified from a doctoral exam I gave last year at MIT. His solution is not only correct, it's efficient. Ms. Whitmore stammered. We need to discuss this performance. She emphasized the word like an accusation. I'll stay, said the board member. This young man's abilities warrant further discussion. In the principal's office, Jaden's notebook, his sanctuary, sat on the desk. We found this in your backpack, Principal Nguyen said. Without permission? Jaden asked. When academic dishonesty is suspected. It's not dishonest. It's my work. Ms. Whitmore flipped through the notebook. Are we to believe a 14-year-old from your background developed these independently? The implication stung. What do you mean, my background? The board member cleared his throat. Whether or not you believe Mr. Harris capable, he clearly understood the solution. That cannot be faked. I can explain every page, Jaden offered. And he did. He discussed Navier-Stokes equations, vector calculus, fractional derivatives. With each explanation, Dr. Marcus Reeve, the MIT board member, grew more impressed. This is original work, he concluded. Rare intuition. Ms. Whitmore protested. You're not here to evaluate our students. As a district STEM advisor, I am. And I'm troubled by what I saw. He turned to the principal. This demands serious reflection. By the next morning, Jaden's story had swept through the school. He had gone from invisible to headline. Teachers took notice. Students whispered. Maya walked beside him, proud. Even Brooke avoided eye contact. Jaden was called back to the principal's office, this time with his mother, Carla. She sat proudly in her hospital scrubs. Michelle has always loved numbers, she said. Even as a baby, he noticed patterns. Dr. Reeve smiled. With your permission, we'd like Jaden to join an advanced math program. Fully funded. Mentors. University-level courses. Carla looked at her son. Is this what you want? Jaden nodded. I just want to learn. Outside the office, Ms. Whitmore approached. Mrs. Harris, Jaden, I'd like a moment. She handed over a folder. I've adjusted his grades and nominated him for the state competition. Jaden opened the folder. A+ marks. An application. Thank you, he said, unsure what else to offer. Dr. Reeve caught up with them. Also, Jaden, I shared your notebook with my colleagues. They'd like to invite you to MIT's Summer Scholars Program. Jaden froze. MIT. Full scholarship. Carla teared up. I always said you'd have to be twice as good to get half as far. Looks like they can't ignore you anymore. The equation of Jaden's life had changed, and he was just getting started.